we're still in Ballycotton Bay in East County Cork, and in one of the previous videos I promised you to explain how did this granite get here. Well, we established that most rocks that we see on the beach, they're linked to the local bedrock geology, but then we found this pebble of granite, and as we said, the closest rock outcrop, the closest granite to here will be Wicklow Mountains. So let's try to understand how this granite got here. So if you were to come here 22,000 years before present, you would find about 250 meters of ice above us. So all this area, the south coast of Ireland, was covered by a thick ice sheet, which expanded from the North Pole through Scotland, the Irish Sea, and came to the south coast of Ireland. And as a lot of fresh water, as a lot of water from the ocean was absorbed into ice, the global sea level on the planet in general was way lower. So, precisely speaking, 22,000 years ago, the sea level was about 120 meters lower than it is now. So, for example, the Ballycotton lighthouse, it was connected to the mainland, and moreover, you could have walked from here, from Ireland, to continental Europe. For example, you could have walked to France without the need to take a ferry. Then the climate started to warm and the ice started to melt. But you can appreciate when thick ice sheet was moving through the landscape, it was destroying the bedrock, it was absorbing the soil and rock fragments into the body of the ice. So then when the ice melted, it deposited so-called glacial till or boulder clay deposits. So those deposits are of glacial origin, and we have a perfect example of those here in Ballycotton Bay. So if we have a look here, effectively what we're looking at here, those are the glacial deposits. So it's very badly sorted deposit which contains a mixture of material of various particle sizes and origins, which represent the geology of the areas where the ice was moving through. So you can even find rock fragments here which came from Scotland or from the east coast of Ireland. And generally speaking, most rock fragments within the glacial till units, they're very angular and they're sharp. So you can see they're not rounded like the pebbles on the beach. For example, if we compare them to the pebbles on the beach, they're rounded. The rocks from the glacial till unit, they're normally angular, because they were produced by the frost shattering or by the ice moving through the landscape and crushing the rock. So that's why we found this piece of granite here, because it's most likely it got here with the ice over 20,000 years before present. And if we compare it to the granite which we can find in the Wicklow Mountains, we can understand that this is the same type of granite. Likewise, on the Dublin coast, we can find granite which came from Scotland. So in this part of Ireland, there were two ice sheets which reached the Ballycotton Bay area. There was an Irish Sea ice sheet expanding from the east, and there was a more local ice sheet expanding from the west, from the Cork and Kerry mountains, and those result in deposition of different units of the glacial till. So as we said, most rock fragments within this glacial till unit, they're quite sharp and angular, so we can say with confidence that they're of glacial origin. But also we see quite an interesting feature here. We have a lens of pebbles, very similar to the ones you find on the riverbed or on the beach. So if the rocks are rounded, it means that they've been moved around by the water, by the running water, like the wave energy or the energy of the river. And in this instance, in these glacial till units which extend through the inner part of the bay, we can find a number of those lenses. And how did they get into this unit? So when the ice was melting, there was a lot of fresh water from the melting ice running through the landscape and reworking the glacial till units. So the rocks, which were initially angular within those glacial till units, they became rounded by these water streams. So those lenses of pebbles, they represent the paleo rivers, and because they have glacial origin and then they've been shaped by the running water, those deposits, they're called the glacier fluvial deposits. So as I said, if we walk along this cliffs, we see a lot of lenses of rounded rocks.